I grew up in a very politically and religiously conservative family. I got married when I was 21. I met my husband through a friend at a party.
It's just something that I've always wanted, get married and have 2 kids.
I found out I was pregnant when we were in Germany, and my husband had already gone back home, so myself sent him a letter, a postcard from the baby saying, "Can't wait to meet you, baby number 2." At 15 weeks, we got a quad marker result back saying that we had a higher risk for Down syndrome, so they wanted us to go in for more testing. Then we were sent to a Catholic hospital, and they told us there that the baby had several problems, lethal birth defects, and that he was probably not going to live. They told us that he had hydrocephalus that had destroyed his brain, and that it looked like his brain had stopped developing around 6 to 8 weeks. They confirmed that he had the 2-way umbilical cord. They also told us that his heart was twisted and malformed inside of his chest, and that arteries and veins were coming out of the wrong ventricles, and that things weren't looking very good at all. At the 20-week visit, when they told me that my water had broke, they told me that the baby had made the decision for me. We prayed about it, we talked about it. No one goes into a decision like this lightly. You really think about the consequences and the repercussions of something like this. There were no options at that point. He was going to die no matter what we did. I could either wait for him to come on his own and risk infection, or I could go get a termination and not risk the infection. It's not choosing death, it's choosing death's timing. Well, at 22 weeks, I woke up bleeding in my bed, and we went to the hospital, and I had some cramping, and they checked me and said, "Well, you're not bleeding enough, so come back when you are." And this happened 4 more times over the course of the next 5 weeks, that I kept bleeding, and they kept sending me home, telling me I wasn't bleeding enough, and come back if I was bleeding more or if I started to run a fever. And each time I would say, "Well, how much, is this enough for you yet?" And finally, at 27 weeks, I woke up again bleeding a lot more than usual, and I called him to come get me, take me to the hospital. And that morning, when I went into the hospital that time, I actually brought in all the pads I had soaked and all the bloody underwear, and I said, "This is what I did this morning. Is this enough blood for you to induce me yet?"
We shouldn't have to go 5 times, or however many times it was, every time, temperature spikes or she's bleeding or something. It should have just been dealt with. It shouldn't have taken that long.
You feel like you're very out of control, that you have no control over your own body because of someone else's religious views.